Welcome to Kentucky Fried Mashup with Duke Money and Magic Mike.
King Kong ain't got shit on me.
We just some country boys, country walk, country talk.
Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Kentucky Fried Mashup in the house, y'all. We told you we were coming, and we are here. We are here. What's up, Duke Money? How you doing, man?
Man, it's all good. It's all good. Glad to be back, ready to mac.
Yeah, you know, some of y'all might remember us from Kentucky Fried Picking, the sports betting, but we doing something different here, y'all. We gonna change it up on y'all. This is the mashup. We're gonna be talking about all kinds of stuff, y'all. We're gonna be discussing things like issues in our society, problems in our society. We're gonna talk about music, movie, TV. We're gonna do politics, you know, even though I know everybody don't like that, but we're gonna get into that. Some current events, news, that type of stuff. We're gonna do sports, science, health and wellness, economics. It's a little bit of everything, y'all. So we got something for everybody.
Yeah. And everything's open-ended, y'all, because we want comments. We want, it ain't what we think, it's what y'all think about what we saying. So,
Absolutely.
comment, all that, subscribe. Y'all know the whole nine.
Absolutely, man. So, send us your comments and you got suggestions on something you want us to talk about. Send it, and we want to hear it, y'all. We want to hear from y'all because that's why we're here. We're here for y'all to entertain and educate. So, yeah, let's do it, Money.
Well, you know what? Because me and Mike was talking about what we going to start it out with, what we want the first show to be about, and something that I think everybody can relate to. And it ain't a topic. It ain't too tough. It ain't political. It's just talking about back in the days, just family. I think that's in every area. I think family means a lot. And today, family ain't the same like back in the days. When you had everybody in the house. It was 6, 7 people in one house. I remember where we had one bathroom. Nowadays ain't no way you got 6, 7 people in the house with one bathroom. Then it wasn't even a shower. I mean, it was crazy, y'all. But I was thinking about that, how times have changed and how the young people, they're a little bit different because now they stay in the house, they play video games. The only real exposure that they got is to the people in their house and to the environment in their house. It used to be the times where, like playing video games, you couldn't get online. You had to go over people's houses. So you had to mind other people's, rules and regulations. So you had to learn how to get along with different people, how to conduct yourself in different areas. And if nowadays, y'all, the kids don't know how to do that. They go to an interview like they going over their friend's house. I mean, the way they talk to people is like they don't know how to change up their language. They don't know how to change up. It's just, and that's a big thing because the kids are our future, y'all. And things the way they are, the kids really need to be empowered, confident, and know how to conduct themselves in a professional manner. And I think it's just that's a big one. It's a big one. It'd be good to, more personal interaction, a little less social media. I think it'll help a little bit. What you think, Mike?
It's a wide topic we talking about, y'all. So, but we want to try to focus it in on, of course, family's important. Everybody loves their family. Well, I guess most people love their family. There's some people, some family members we don't get along with. But
you can't say all on that one.
But you try to love your family. But we gonna kind of focus here on the childhood aspect of this, right? So we want to talk about. We're gonna bring some of y'all viewers back, older viewers, to a nostalgic feeling of when you were a child, right? Just how things have changed over the years, from when we were kids to now. And Steve touched on it. Just the kids are a lot less social now, because they're so caught up on the iPads and on the internet and stuff. But you mentioned something about learning to speak in different environments, right? Which a good friend of mine, one of our fans from Kentucky Fried Pick, Mike Cannon, he used to say he was a teacher, right? And I was in his class one day, and he was telling the kids about how they got to learn how to code switch, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to be able to talk. You can't talk. When you go into a business environment or you're with adults, you can't talk the same way you talk with your kids or with your friends, with your homies, So, but code switch was something that really stuck with me when he said that. And I just loved it. So, but that's so true. But we got to get these kids out here, like you said, build that confidence, you know?
Yeah.
Got to build confidence. You got to have confidence in this world because the world will beat you down real bad if you don't have it, and to be successful, you really need confidence, believe in yourself. So, but it's interesting because with some of y'all may not know, but I just want to touch briefly on why me and Duke Money are doing this, right? So we go back a ways now. How long is it now, Money?
It's been, I
Like,
think,
was it
17,
2008?
18 years. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
So like 16, 17 years, which we met. We ain't gonna say the name of the company. We ain't giving them free exposure, right?
Yeah.
So, but we met in a training class we got hired on the same time, training together. And Duke Money just cracked me up in the training classes, and he had me laughing. I said, man, I hope I end up on this dude's team because he just had me laughing the whole time. But we ended up on the same team. We got lucky, right?
Yeah.
And then it was crazy because then that's when we became like salt and pepper because everywhere one of us went, the other went. We were cubicle buddies right next to each other. We got moved to different departments together.
Yeah.
And still sat right next to each other. We got promoted together.
Yeah.
And we almost got fired together.
Yeah. But think about one thing you said, Mike. We were in training. We were in training together. Now you know how they train? You at home on a computer all by yourself.
Yeah.
So if you ain't getting it, you just ain't getting it. Ain't nobody say, hey, what?
Yeah, right. Yeah, because we was like when we went on break, everybody be, hey, did y'all understand it? Like, you getting that interaction which you don't get, and which my son says the same thing about because they do a lot of online school classes online, and they don't. He feels like he don't get as much out of the class when he's isolated like that, because you got to email the teacher. And then you got to wait for a response, and sometimes it just takes too long. And your train of thought, because you're not in the moment, and then you got to come back to it later. So,
but just think what he said about you ask the teacher a question and you waiting for an answer to come back. By that time, your mind done ran through so many things, and see that. Think
got
about
on something else.
You
doing something
span.
else.
The attention span has changed a bunch, So.
Yeah, but it's funny because when we worked together though, we almost got fired because Money was probably glad when I left because his production probably went up because I was always bugging him. I'd be peeking around. Hey, Money, what you think about this? Hey, and I was always distracting him. So he was probably glad when I left for real. But his production went up. He probably got a raise and everything. But we almost got fired together probably because we talked too much. But we were having informal podcasts back then.
You think that's real, Mike? It worked. We would sit and talk to each other. I mean, just where we turned our whole chair around. We ain't even looking at the computer. We done turn looking at each other across the aisle. But another thing I was thinking about when you with people, y'all know, and this is for the young people and the older people. Y'all know, like joking. You remember when you was over people's house when you was younger, people was around. So when people joked on you, everybody's laughing, but you had to learn how to take it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you would work, okay, people's laughing. You had to learn how to take it's all point.
Get tough skin. You got to have tough skin.
Yeah. Now you at home all by yourself on social media. Somebody talk about you. You know your feel. You done got deep in your feeling because you don't know how to take it. You just in your personal space all by yourself, door closed, and you just I can't believe they said.
Yeah.
All of that affects us, y'all. That we got to get back to. And when I say family, I don't just mean your blood. I'm talking about. Like I say, on the block,
a community
would work.
Yeah,
that's your family. You see them every day. That's family, but you with people.
Community, that's man. Important. That is really what we've gotten away from. Because and when we were talking earlier before we started recording, you mentioned about when you were younger, you knew everybody on the block. You knew everybody's parents, like you knew them by name, like hey Miss Sharon or whoever. Like you knew the people in your neighborhood. Now you don't see that interaction as much as you used to.
And then they could discipline me. See, that's when I think I mentioned it because since we knew everybody on the block, my grandmother knew everybody. Everybody knew everybody because we all was raised and we had been there for a long time. So if Miss Ponder get me, I'm just gat. Ain't no my grandma's about to come out of the house. What you touch my grandson for? Now it's like it. You even in school, they done took the control away from teachers. Where I remember when I was at school, I got a paddling. I mean, he told me, he said, we can call your mother. You can take some licks. I'm gonna take the licks. You know that what? No, I'm calling the police.
Right. It wasn't no calling CPS. Now, hey, did the paddle they hit you with? Did it have holes in it? What was it? What did it look like?
Yeah, it had holes. It had holes.
So
It
go
widened.
fast. It can go faster.
Yeah.
You get that wind blowing through it.
It widened me. It widened me. I was tough, but it
Now, I never actually got the paddle at school, but I did have a teacher, my first grade teacher, Miss Cook. Thank you, Miss Cook. She taught me how to read. I appreciate her so much. I haven't seen her since first grade, but I thank you, Miss Cook. But she caught me one time. I was talking during a reading lesson, and she hit me with a ruler, slow, right on my. Ooh, I started crying. She was like, "Don't interrupt while I'm teaching."
Yeah.
But hey, that was the last time I did too. But thank you, Miss Cook, because I was paying attention after that.
But you see how that's what I'm saying. Going over people's house, being in different environments, and the adults have the control. Don't get me wrong, y'all. We know all adults shouldn't have control, but I mean, in general, when you know people, where you know that they all right. I send you to school. I trust the teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Discipline them, because that teaches you how to act in different environments. You might be at home and you can just talk when everybody else is talking. Okay, you in school now.
Yeah.
You get quiet, and let me get quiet. And that teaches you everywhere. You can't do what you do in your house all day. It's just what you said, Mike. What was that word you said about the code? You said switching the code or something.
Code switching.
That right there. You got to be able to do. That's important. That could be the difference between you going far and you staying right where you at for the rest of your days.
And any good functioning society, you have to have some type of structure and rules for people to obey. Because when people just start bucking the system and don't care about the rules, like, you start to have chaos. So
and it's they didn't double guess, like you said. When she hit you with that ruler, it was soon as she thought, bop. It wasn't like, well, am I gonna get in trouble? Am I gonna? Because whenever you discipline somebody swift, usually the point, because they ain't got too much time to forget what they did, because it's right away. Bop. Okay. Yeah. It's the youngins, y'all.
Which Miss Cook wasn't the only one. My mother took the belt to my leather belt to my backside many a times when I was out of line. And I'm thankful. Which she used to say, "This hurts me more than it hurts you," and all that type of stuff. But I was like, "No, it don't." When I was a kid, I was like, "No, you don't love me." But I know she does now, and that's the thing. She said, "I'd rather me be the one whipping you than the police or something, because you don't respect the rules and authority and all that stuff." So you got to have some sort of structure in society.
And Mike, you know me. I always talk to you about when we get personal. When you get too personal. But I got one for you that I got to mention. My mother, whenever she would whoop me, she would tell me get in the room, in my grandmother's room. And my grandmother's room was in the front of the house. Mm-hmm. One day I went in there and she's gonna tear me up. I'm hollering and heaving, all that. And the window was open, and all my friends was outside. We heard you in there getting tore up. Oh man. If any of my homies watch this, they'll know. I mean, and I was young. It might 7 or 8. Oh.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that reminds me of when I was a kid, because hanging out at everybody's house, right? Because it wasn't just playing on video games online. We actually went to their house. But I had a friend. Yeah. I had a friend. I feel bad about this now because we got him in big trouble. But we was at his house and we got crazy. Somebody brought out a thing of baby powder, right? Somebody was joking, like we did, right? Joking, man, your feet stink, man. You need to put some baby powder. So they pulled out the baby powder, started spraying it on somebody, and he smacked it. He smacked it out his hand, right? And the baby powder just went everywhere, right? And then he picked it up because he got mad and he threw it back at the guy. And so before you know it, baby powder's everywhere on the house, right? Yeah. And his mom came home because she wasn't home at the time. She came home like right after this happened. And she comes in, there's baby powder all over the place. And we're like, uh-oh, we got to dip. So we just leave the house and leave him in there. My poor friend, man. Next thing we was standing outside. Next thing we hear, wop, wop, wop. What you doing? Turn up this house. Wop, wop. And we was like, oh. And he didn't do nothing. That's why I felt bad afterwards, because he didn't do nothing. He didn't deserve it, but it was us that deserved that whooping.
But she gonna take it out, yeah. And think about that, Mike. When you got dudes, big football players. Mama's 4'10", but guess what? Mama instilled in you at a young age. You better not. That
you still respect mama.
Goes a long way.
Yeah, and the thing is, a lot of people are against corporal punishment, but if it's done with love and it's not an abuse, because there is a line. I mean, there are some parents who just abuse their kids with it, and that's unfortunate, because that's why they frown upon it now because of the people that abused it and didn't do it the right way and do it with love. Like, I'm trying to help you to get you to do right, but a lot of things have changed with over society, because I was reading somewhere not too long ago that just like how we would go outside and play, as kids in the neighborhood. So this is how bad it's gotten. So in the 1960s, the average kid would travel about 5 to 6 miles away from their home.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every decade, that number has gone down.
Yeah.
To the point where now the average in 2020s, the average is less than a quarter of a mile away from the home.
Think about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So the kid, because when we were kids, we explored, like we went out to the environment. We would go out in the woods. We made tree houses. Like we did all kinds of stuff. Like we made bike ramps, for our dirt bikes. We would mound up dirt and in the woods. Like we had a ball. But these kids today, they're not getting that type of experience. Like it's funny because when I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do, Steve, and maybe you did too, but climb trees. Did you ever? Were you a tree climber? Like I always was trying to climb up in the tree, trying to go as high as I could. And when I would get in trouble, I would go hide in the tree. Like when I knew my mom was looking for me, I would go hide up in the tree. Which I got a hilarious story, but I'll save it for another podcast. But I got a great story to tell you. But just I noticed with the kids nowadays, they're not as physical because I was a PE teacher for a while. The kids, they have no upper body strength.
Yeah.
Because none of them are out there climbing trees and pulling themselves up and developing those muscles. Because I was excited one time I found this pull-up bar in the closet, right? It was all dusty. Like it'd been in there for probably years. So I was excited, like, man, let me get this out here and get these kids doing these pull-ups. I was so disappointed, Money, when I got that hung up and the kids started, all right, line up. All right, here, you try it. Man, there was only like one kid that could do a pull-up. It was sad.
Like you said something, what you just said right there, talking about the distance that kid, and when you said that it was, well, y'all don't live in Louisville, but I remember one time we rode our bike so far, and one of my buddies called a flat. Mm-hmm. When he called home, his parents said, "What you doing that far away from the house?" And they wouldn't come and get him, but my mother came, and picked him up. But just thinking about that, but obesity, they talk about that in our society. And you got to think about it. Kids ain't going nowhere from the house. So at a young age, you already starting to build up a certain type of, your body ain't used to being active and it ain't burning the calories. And see, now I'm getting too deep. So I will stop. But you know what I'm saying? It ties in together.
Yeah, childhood obesity is a real problem. And I mean, obesity for adults as well, because we're just not as active as a society. Like there's other societies, other countries around the world that they look at us like, why are they so big? I mean, I was in serious. No, I'm dead serious.
People get offended. Like I don't want, because we love all y'all. Everybody's beautiful as far as I'm concerned, especially all the women.
No, but I was literally,
I won't get nobody mad,
I was,
you know how it is.
I was literally in Ireland, right? I went to visit. I met this girl there, and I was hanging out with her parents at her house, right? And I actually stayed there because I went back the second time, and I'm standing there. And we're just watching TV, and this show comes on. The show was The Fattest City in the World. That's what the show was.
Mike, don't go no further. You gonna hurt people's. People gonna get mad. We. Blame it on the people because they put all kinds of stuff in our food. We can't talk about.
Well, I know, but the Irish people, like the family that I was with, they were looking at me like, why are people so big in America? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I mean, like you said, it's probably, which that's a whole nother topic. We get into food and another thing.
This is a whole nother topic too. You got to think about the stuff that other countries don't allow when their food is banned that America lets
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's another podcast. Let's go ahead and keep on writing.
For another day.
But like you said, like you said though, just getting away from the house, which a lot of times we was doing it against our parents. Like if they would have known we was gone that far, they would have got upset with us, but we did it anyway. But now the kids, and it's a combination of things, because a lot of parents are scared, right? They're afraid their kids going to get abducted. Like something bad's going to happen. They're going to get bullied. Somebody going to get jumped, beat up.
I got to hit something when you saying that. That's what's good about when we used to go over each other's house and know everybody on the block. Because guess what? If I'm outside all by myself and some stranger comes walking and ain't nobody's watching me, but Miss Ponder, my friend's grandmother happened to be at the window and she
Mhm.
sees it,
Yeah.
she knows who
Right.
I am, who's in
Mhm.
my family, and whoever
Mhm.
that is don't need to be. Now you don't even know whose kids is who. You don't. So you see, and like I say, y'all family. I ain't just talking about blood. I'm talking about everybody.
The community.
Shoot, that's a matter of fact. That's a whole nother type. If we all stayed together around the whole world, guess what? We could be changing.
Right.
Oh my, let me quit.
Right. Yeah, but you know, the childhood has changed, and that's what I know. So our viewers, you know, I'd love to hear some of y'all stories. Like, what kind of things did y'all do when you were kids? Like, just the stuff you got into, the trouble. Like, because I can think of when I was a kid, and I, this is a little embarrassing to admit, I guess, but we used to go to the creek, right? As kids, we search for crawdads. So we'd be turning over rocks and search crawdads. So I had this little bucket that I had put some crawdads in that we caught, and we were walking by the pond, and this snake comes out, right? Crawls right in front of me, and it scared us. So we all jumped like, "Oh, it's a snake! It's a snake!" And out of nowhere, one of my friends hits it with a rock, and I was like, "Oh!" I was like, and he killed it, right? He hit it on his head, and it was dead. It quit moving, and then for some reason, I got this crazy idea that I said, because I heard some kids playing in a pool next to the creek. So I said, "Hey, y'all, watch this." And they was like, "What you about to do? What you about to do?" And I said, "Just watch." And I picked up the snake by its tail and I carried it over, and there was like a shed in the backyard behind the pool. So I couldn't see the pool, but I could hear him. Yeah. So I crept up there. I started swinging that snake like this, and I threw it over the shed into the pool. I kid you not. The kids said, "Look, it's a flying snake." Ah! And everybody started screaming. You heard it splash in the pool, and everybody just went scattering. And of course, we were gone. We just took off running. But just little stuff like that. Like, we weren't really hurting nobody, but it was like a good old prank. And
good days.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
lots of memories like that. I'm telling you, like he said, y'all, we know y'all. I can only imagine if y'all start commenting and sharing what y'all got, that it's gonna be so many of us probably have stuff in common. I mean, we need to get the kids back to that because we love the kids. Everybody that has kids and even people that don't, we all love the kids. They the future, y'all. We got to get them.
We got to get them socialized, man. Get them out there.
Social media is good. That's what we're on now. There's a lot of opportunity compared to when we was young.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't have social media and stuff, but still.
Which social media can be really bad. It can be good if it's used right, because one thing you mentioned about, like, when we would be joking around with each other, I think the online is more mean spirited and more wicked, right? Whereas we were just kind of joking with each other. Look at you, this and that, and we'd be joking on each other, but it was all in fun. But now it's like it's mean stuff on the internet. Like, they trying to really crush people's souls and like just.
And we could take it, even if how sometimes most of us had somebody, especially back in them days, that you fought all the time. So you might be joking on somebody. He say something about your mama. Okay, y'all gonna take it there. But guess what? It's probably gonna be a fist fight. Y'all gonna be right back together the next day, and probably sometime later on in the week y'all gonna fight again because y'all always fighting. But it just teaches you a lot. And I don't want to go into because fighting is not good at all. But even that, it teaches you, if you lose, you don't have to go get a gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All I know is the next time
go play basketball with them. Yeah.
So it's real important to the point where really it's the change that we seeing is because of the change in family. And like I said, family ain't just your
I mean, the
friends and everything.
Yeah, I mean, the family structure's kind of been broken. There's a lot of single parents out here, parents incarcerated, and then we got communities that are broken. People aren't communicating, with their neighbors. There's a lot of issues going on. So I hope we can make a turnaround for sure. But
I love the women, so I'm always gonna give the women props. Y'all raised us; we wouldn't be here without y'all. I believe in women. What he said, I can't die, but even y'all that's struggling and and maybe confused or wasn't raised right, y'all got some help. Just let a brother in, Don't be so picky.
Hey, y'all, money is single and ready to mingle. So just in case y'all know.
Mike said it, and I ain't got nothing to say about that because he telling the truth, 100%. I hope
man. I tell you what, Money, I wish I could go back though to being a child again because we just had so much fun, man. I mean, just playing basketball till it got dark. We would turn on the lights on the house to try to keep playing, or somebody like, "Hey man, go get your mama's car, turn the lights on the car," like just so we could keep playing. We play in the snow. It didn't matter if it was snowing outside. We'd be outside. It's like I coached some kids, and I was telling them I was coaching some kids in basketball, and I was like, y'all need to get the ball in your hands more. You need to be dribbling. I was like, I used to go to my friend's house like every day. Like I get home from school, I get my basketball, and I'd walk to my friend's house, and the whole time I'm dribbling, like working on my dribbling skills. And then we'd go play basketball once I got there, So I tell them, like, if you want to get good at something, you got to put in the practice. You can't just be in here on your
basketball. Don't forget football, because where I lived, it was a high school, so we were back in them days, y'all. It was easy to get in the games. You could just jump the fence. But I digress. But we would go in the field and we would play football. Now everybody's not a football player. Everybody's not a basketball player. But just think what he said. You doing something athletic. You know what I mean?
Being active. Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody didn't go on to be, division A. I in the pro basketball and all that, but everybody was just out there trying, whether you was good, wasn't that good, you got next. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We gonna run a play for you. Pitch back tackle. Y'all remember that? It's so much we can talk about with that. That's a topic I can talk about all day. I would love to talk to kids about that.
Yeah, we used to have.
I'm an OG now.
OG. We used to have big football pickup games back in the neighborhood. We actually played neighborhood against neighborhood. So I definitely got to call out I ain't gonna call him by name, but he'll know by just me saying this. So them folks over on Shenandoah Drive and Toll House Court, yeah, we used to give them the business. And they used to talk trash like, we're gonna whoop y'all. We would walk 2-3 miles just to go over to their neighborhood and play them and spank them and then just leave.
We had a couple like that too over at the field, because it was Cecil was on the other side of the high school, and then 39th was our block. And that stuff was fun. I mean,
now it's gangs. Now the kids want to shoot each other from different neighborhoods, different blocks. They don't get along. Which that's the thing. We were all friends, but it was like bragging rights. So we come over here, we're going to beat you, and we're going to brag about it and talk trash. But, it was good spirited.
I remember when that started, because even when we was young, the Section 8 and all that, it was just starting. Because I remember it was a corner store that we used to go to, up the alley, Baby Cakes. That was the name of it. That's where that was when 9 laters was 10 cents, y'all. Just so y'all know.
Pack of gum for a quarter.
Yeah, a bag of chips, not the little bitty bag, regular bag, 35 cents. Y'all, yeah. I'm telling
the good old days.
One time we was coming home. I'm walking home. It's time to go home because it's getting dark outside. I got to get to the home. And the little candy store that been there forever. The dude that working there named Smitty. We going. I'm like, Baby Cake's still open. We going there. Somebody done hit Smitty's about 85, y'all. Somebody done hit Smitty in the eye. Took his gun. And this is the neighborhood store. And it seemed like from that point on, it just started wasn't like it is now, of course, but it was getting to the point where it was clear when I think about it. It just kept getting, where the neighborhood and the family I'm talking about now, it was getting to the point where it was cutthroat,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Baby Cakes. Which it is unfortunate that we got to that point, like where, there's more crime. Parents are afraid to let their kids roam too far because they're afraid something might happen, and then also because, which I don't know about you, but like when a lot of kids when we were younger, you had neighborhood schools. So kids would actually walk or ride their bike to school. So you getting that exercise, but now, I mean, it's just changed so much now because the kids are so caught up on the phones, on the internet. But even, I mean, because as a parent myself, when my kids were little, I was still a little nervous about letting them go too far from the house, which I always made them like, it was basically as they got older, I would let them venture farther and further away, a little further away to where, they probably traveled a couple miles away from the house. Yeah. And that was even before they had cell phones. I just be like, I always told them, like, I tell them, y'all don't leave, do not leave each other. Like, y'all stay together. Don't ever, like, if one of you comes home and the other one's not here, you're going to be in trouble. Like, so I made sure that they stayed together because, power's in numbers. And usually the kids that get messed with is because they by themselves,
Absolutely. That's, like I say, we just dropping so many gems on y'all in this one. And I mean, and I know a lot of y'all parents that's, older and y'all know what it is. And y'all, and this is not, and I almost forgot this, Mike, because you mentioned this and stuff just be popping in my mind when you mentioned school, busing. Okay, that's just like me and Mike. I lived in the West End, y'all know, and it was kids at Shelby Road. But guess what? Back then, it wasn't where they was trying to keep the kids in the school where you live at. So you getting to meet people. You see what I'm saying? You getting to learn how to interact with people because you meeting people from out Shelbyville Road, and I'm naming that wherever you live, out in the suburbs, in the hood. But people are all the same. It don't matter where you come from, and you gelling with people and you meeting them, and that's just. It just was different. You don't want to keep somebody in their own neighborhood going to the same. All the people you see that's even more isolation where you don't know how to, what you just said about, change and cue, you don't know how, you just around. So man, it's just so much. I'm telling y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I think busing was a good thing for kids, just to be able to get along, see the differences, like what you can aspire to be because if you're in a bad neighborhood and all you see is the bad neighborhood, you're not going to think anything's different. But if you get to venture out and see another experience somewhere else, then you know that that's not the case. Like there's other ways to live out here, So I think that was a good thing.
I understand from the person who's trying to make it, because guess what? In every neighborhood, it's good people, majority good people. A lot of people working, paying taxes. Some people just stay where they're because they've been there forever. Yeah. It's just when you got a certain area where the knuckleheads is congregated together, it makes it seem like, oh, it's something always going on. But you spread them knuckleheads out, then the trouble's going to be spread out. But now it's like, keep them, so. But y'all know, I don't want to go there, but y'all know what I'm saying. It's still all about family, y'all, and the kids, because that's the future.
It's all about the community, man, which we need to get back to it. So that's the whole point of our podcast today, y'all. We just wanted to kind of take y'all back into your own history. And like I said, we would love to hear your comments, stories, like things you did when you were a kid, how things have changed, raising kids. Like, how was it different raising kids versus, when you were a kid? Were you different than your parents? Like, because it's funny, like I had to laugh because my mom, she lived with me for a while, and when I would get on my kids or discipline them about something, she would like step in and like defend them, and I'd have to say, hold on, mama, I love you, but this ain't your place. Like, I'm the dad now, because you're totally different than when I was a kid, because you was ready to get that belt. Now you done become soft and nice, and now you want to coddle the grandkids. But I'm like, you weren't like that when I was a kid, so let me handle this right now.
Grannies. Real when y'all talking about raising your kids up, go back to your grannies and the grannies of today.
Like I said, I want to hear them stories which y'all got. Tell me, give me something. I want to hear it, because I love to hear it. If you got a topic, something that you want to hear us talk about, let us know, because we're here and we ain't going nowhere. We'll be back next week with another episode. But like I said, we want to hear some feedback from our listeners. What do you want to hear? What do you want us to talk about? So let us know, and let's hear your stories for sure.
And y'all, we just getting our feet wet. It's been a while since we been here, and we trying to get back into the groove of things, because we know we got plenty of good things to bring y'all. We know y'all want to hear them, so we're gonna get back in the game, and we're gonna get running with it, and be dropping these videos on the regular.
We knocking the rust off, and we back, y'all. We back, and we coming strong. So this is just the first episode, but we back every week. Kentucky Fried Mashup. Like us, subscribe. We're on Spotify, YouTube. Tell your friends if you enjoyed the show. Send them a link. Tell them to watch it, because we need to build up those subscribers, y'all. But we definitely appreciate y'all tuning in, and we look forward to seeing y'all again next week. We're gonna have another bomb show. So, you got anything to add, Duke Money?
It's all good, y'all. We coming correct too.
Check the links on the page. Click on it. Check us out, y'all. We got social media, Instagram, all that stuff. So we appreciate y'all.
The mashup.
The mashup. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good one. We out. We'll see y'all next week.
Duke Money. Magic.